Okay, today I am going to read Tracking Monsters. The genre is an informational text. And let's get going. Here is the background information. I need to grab my mouse real quick. Park scientists, Gila monsters, geysers, and grizzly bears in America's own backyard is about opportunities for scientific study in America's national parks. In this excerpt, the author joins researchers and citizen scientists in southern Arizona's Saguaro National Park to gather data about Gila monsters. These large lizards are notoriously difficult to study. So basically, it's a whole bunch of scientists, and they are studying Gila monsters. And the G here makes the H sounds. And again, once my mouth, I just need it to not be numb anymore. It's still numb, so I apologize for my pronunciations. Tracking monsters. Saguaro National Park in southern Arizona looks like a giant cactus garden. Acres of evenly spaced cacti in every imaginable spiny, prickly shape grow out of pastel-colored gravel. The park's Sonoran Desert home is full of fierce plants adapted to living thirsty. Well, that was a lot of information in just two sentences. So we're in Arizona. There are lots of cactus there. The gravel, which is rocks, and the sand are a pastel color, so light in color. The Sonoran Desert is the desert we talked about in the other, one of our first stories in this unit, where they are looking for microbes. So this national park is inside of a desert. Tough grasses, waxy-leaved bushes, and smooth-skinned trees fill the space between cacti with smells of cooking herbs, tar, and soap. Sounds are part of the desert too. The background buzz of insects is broken by a hawk's call, and there's also a beep, beep, beep noise. So the caption says researchers use radio telemetry to track Gila monsters in and around Saguaro National Park. We're going to learn more about that. So these are the cactus. This is the telemetry that they're using, what we'll learn about. Move the face over here. All right. The beeping sound is coming from a small black box carried by a man wearing a wide-brimmed hat. Brian Park, okay, I'm guessing it's one of these guys, I don't know, also holds up what looks like an old-fashioned TV antenna. Okay, so this will be our guy that we're learning about, Brian Park. The beeping box and the antenna are radio telemetry instruments. Brian is using them to zero in on a critter, which is an animal, with a radio transmitter inside of it. The beeps are getting louder. That means she is nearby. Brian tells the half-dozen people hiking up a hill with him, be careful to avoid the prickly pear and the fish hook cacti. He sets down his gear near a hump of granite. Granite is a type of very hard rock. The sun-hatted hikers circle the big rocks and begin inspecting its crevices and cracks. So right now, they found out the Gila monster is close by, and they stop and they start looking around the rocks for it. She's visible, everybody, Brian announces. He stooped over and is using a small mirror to bounce strong desert sunlight underneath the rock. Everyone moves in for a look. I can see her head in there, someone says. A crouching, middle-aged woman puts a hand on the rock to steady herself. I wouldn't put your fingers in there, Brian warns. Why not? The animal stuffed underneath the rock can deliver a powerful, venomous bite. It's a Gila monster. Okay, and here in our caption, it says the researcher, Brian Park, which is this guy, and a volunteer citizen scientist zero in on the Gila monster using radio telemetry. So this guy is a volunteer. Monstrous lizards. Gila monsters are big lizards with a powerful, clamping, venomous jaws. They are the largest lizards in the United States, growing up to 2 feet, which is 61 centimeters long, and weighing up to 3 pounds, which is 1.4 kilograms. Gila monsters belong to a reptile group called, I'm not even going to try to say that, but Monstersauria, maybe? Says Kevin Bonine. He is a scientist at the University of Arizona and heads up the Gila monster study. Monstersaurs roamed alongside T-Rexes and other dinosaurs 100 million years ago. Today, the only other remaining monster lizard species is the beaded lizard, who is also big and venomous. Gila monsters make their home in deserts of the southwestern United States and northern Mexico. They are common in Arizona, and it's hard to mistake the large, slow-moving lizards. Gila monsters are chunky, low-to-the-ground lizards covered in pink, orange, and black skin studded with tiny, pebbly bumps. Gila monsters are an iconic species of the Sonoran Desert, says Kevin. That means just like it's very special about them, the iconic. But being famous, so iconic is also famous, hasn't gotten Gila monsters much scientific attention over the years. Gila monsters aren't easy to study. They're nocturnal, which means they're awake at night, much of the year, and spend a lot of their time in underground burrows, holes dug by the animals, places where they like to live. Gila monsters don't need to be out constantly searching for food like a bird or mouse does. A large adult lizard may eat only a few times a year. Their favorite food is a nest full of baby bunnies or quail eggs, says Kevin. Gila monsters are expert nest raiders. Here's a picture of a Gila monster. This is like the orangish pinkish colors. It's a very bumpy skin. The Gila monster's name comes from the Gila River region of Arizona. Here we go. Kevin Bonine is a herpetologist, a scientist who studies amphibians and reptiles. He's hoping his research will solve some Gila monster mysteries. We're not sure how many Gila monsters are out there or exactly what they do all year, says Kevin. Scientists don't even know the time of year the lizards are born. Gila monster moms lay eggs in underground burrows. I remember burrows are the holes where they live in, the tunnels. In late summer, and baby Gila hatchlings, which are the babies, leave burrows the following spring. So we know that that is 8 to 10 months that they're in there, okay, in the burrows. Perhaps they hatch in autumn and the hatchling spends the winter underground. Or are they in the egg for a heck of a long time, says Kevin. The list of needed answers about Gila monsters in and around Saguaro National Park is long, says Kevin. How far do they travel in a year? Do they leave the park? How many burrows do they use? Do roads and housing developments affect them? There's a whole lot of mystery, Kevin says. And right now my brain is going straight back to the book, the story we read about the dolphins and the seabirds and how they were like trying to track when their babies were born and how they lived. And also the roads and housing developments affect them. That makes me think of the frog reading that we had where some of the frogs were getting killed by crossing the road or their land, the ponds that they were living in were getting filled in. So yeah, this is really making me have a lot of connections with some of our other stories. I'll be back for another part of the reading.